walk by the small garden that carries a few bean plants and not many weeds. You leave Magenta behind and take a walk on the wooden logs on the massive bridge. They're in much better shape than the other structures here, and the boat is almost new, still shining proudly from varnish. You look back at the nearby building. While restoring all of the structures to their former functionality will be rough, there's a lot to work with. Dias would be pleased. And if she would find out. Okay. To the Dell then. I just gotta figure a way to lie to her without her telling. She's way too cunning. Way too shrewd. You ride through the open gate. Sophie dismounts. Alright. Sorry. Broke. Who knows? I might get kicked out of the town too, so. Suck if I pay you a coin. Just for that to happen. You know, I'm gonna go to sleep. Because I don't want to get kicked out. So we'll just avoid the mayor. That's my strategy for it. The rain once again hit the ground, interrupting your sleep. Another day of muddy roads. Wow, I wouldn't mind doing some work. It's like if I get kicked out. Before that, I'm just procrastinating at this point. I should go wash up, though. Fish? Aha! Wash myself. Now, should I sell the fish? Or should I get rations? Because I am out of rations. Let's see if he has any food left over. Leftovers? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll save it for the rations. Because I do have some wild plants. I do need the coin. Alright, fine. I'm already here. Sold 2 fish. Broke. Fill the trough. Alright, in the morning. In the morning for sure. Maybe I should rinse it out. Yeah, I deserve it. Shivers wake you up. You open the window and see the dense fog covering Howler's Creek, spreading like milk throughout the entire village. You hear an amused squirrel coming from the main square and spot the dancing light of torches and lanterns, yet the village remains calm and asleep. It too shall pass. Alright, no point in waiting any longer. Tyus spares you a harsh glance. What if I show her this necklace, and then let her come to her own assumptions? Got a necklace I found at the hamlet. Have you ever seen such a trinket? She reaches for it, but doesn't touch it. In her green eyes, you notice disgust. Let me think, she mutters. No, I can't say I have. Not a little thing, but tells me nothing. Where have I heard that before? So about the hamlet. She encourages you with a smile. Actually, let me ask you about this first. The tribe of the Green Mountain. She opens her mouth, but needs a few breaths to respond. I compliment you for finding out about the existence at all. She rubs the back of her neck. I can't tell you much about them. To be honest, I wouldn't be allowed to, even if I wanted to. You're not allowed to? Ma! Hearing the call of a little girl, Tyus flinches. Turns out the child is demanding a change of shirt. She points at a large stain on her stomach. What happened here? The mayor asks if she turns away from you to help the girl change, but doesn't wait for her response. I haven't spoken with the tribe in 10 years or so. As a child, I was told that one should never seek their home. She takes a look at her daughter. The new shirt is as worn and dull as the old one. It's an old garment for adults. On her small frame, it looks like a baggy tunic. Very nice, go play. She concludes absently and looks back at you, sighing with annoyance. My sister used to brag that she saw them once in the woods during their hunt. That they were wearing the faces of animals, looking like the beast folk. She tried to make a mask of her own, but the druids told her to stop fooling around. Kids are liars, my father said. She lets out a quiet titter. Did you learn anything from your father? How to treat kids, how not to treat kids? You talked about your sister. Could I ask her a couple questions? I'm afraid she's with the forest now. Old lightning hit her right in the head. I'm sorry, what? What? I don't know how to respond to that. Can you give us a moment? As you frown, a muscular, crudely dressed woman approaches the table, asking Tyus for directions. Something about moist logs and breaking boards. You stop paying attention quickly and instead wonder why the mayor insists on holding these meetings outside. She's so busy, she needs to be constantly available to the others. I'm neither a threat nor someone important enough to be worthy of her exclusive time. It's all either. She wants to show how much she cares about the others. It'd be inappropriate for a married person to spend this much time with an outsider away from everyone. No, that's silly. No, it's definitely either. She has a reason for doing everything. She's crude and calculating. Great job, she sends off to work with an encouraging smile. Though her eyes meet yours, it shifts to a challenging smirk. See what I mean? About the fishing hamlet. I've been to the hamlet. As she puts on a wide, expectant smile, you notice a few more wrinkles around her eyes. According to your tale, hamlet is uninhabitable, even if empty. Betrayed demolished rotten cabins, harpy nests, and the collapsed ground. Ice's eyes lose their spark, but she keeps her composure, even asks for more details. After you finish, she leans forward and rests her cheek on her hand. You don't even notice where the pouch in her hand came from. Well, at least the harpies left your eyes alone. Did they bother you? She slowly counts down 3 dragon bones, placing them on the table loudly. You wouldn't believe the scent of their blood. Unpack my reward. Nah, I'm fine. Nah, it's better not to push my luck. Good to see someone around here who doesn't need my help, she says with little joy and observes her pale fingers. After a few breaths, she asks you to give her a minute. After she returns from the inn, her lips are covered with a new layer of rouge, darker than usual. One of her sons carries a large bag made of leather, and after you peek inside, you can find a sheet of parchment rolled onto 2 wooden handles. The scroll is new, heavy, tied with a tight linen cord to seal with wax. You've proven yourself trustworthy, both to me and to my neighbors, says the mayor. Take this letter to the masters of the guild. May the negotiations begin. With a smile, she reaches out her hand. shake it with enthusiasm. That I'll wear to shake as briefly as I can without upsetting your tribe. Fantastic, she says with a radiant smile. Her hand is as soft as that of a wealthy merchant. You need anything else? You need my assistance on anything else? She licks her lips. Let me think about it, won't you? In the meantime, you could bring me some more delightful rumors. Right. I think I'm going to be more picky with what I share with you. Okay. 10 coins. I have time. Before dusk. We're still looking for a match. What about that tall lady? Are they not a good match? She wants to move away from there. Offer my services to the guards. Ooh, 3 coins. Ah, that's a shame. Well, I just remembered I did not set up the fish trap, did I? Yeah, I forgot. I was gonna wash myself. Then head back because I wanted to buy something from Makakios. I'm not broke, but I need the coins. Alright. Show him the necklace I found at the hamlet. Have you ever seen such a trinket? He takes a link glance. Nay, but I do not buy trash. It's like no one knows about it. Okay, well, what do you have for sale? The lantern, I need it. Stack of linen sheets, valuable commodity. I don't think yeah, I'm not gonna sell that. I'm not gonna sell that. Okay. Ah, Eric's, let's ask him. Nope, he do need some rations. But I have some fruits, it's fine. Leave the square, maybe buy on those. I show her the necklace. Have you ever seen such a trinket? She looks at it for only 2 breaths. Ah, and Gale rocks. They do like the fish and shell. 'Tis like when some people wear claws and tusks. She pushes back to you. Maybe when 'twas still new, 'twas pretty. Yeah, everyone thinks it's ugly. Gale rocks, huh? What are your services again? 20. Mention the fancy clothes. 19 for this. Fancy robe, fancy dress. I mean, how would these help? How would these help me? Not exactly. Fancy. Alright. Maybe help us? Billing hasn't changed much since the last day you visit. I whisper, making sure that none of the workers can hear me. The hamlet will stay as it is. We can play the druids. Not really doing this for them. She smiles gently, then steps back and bows deeply. Seeing this, nearby druids also lower their heads. The others may not know yet, but you've chosen their safety over their greed. Your kind heart will be remembered. Yeah, well, there's something else. Amid Aegidia. Aegidia? She says you don't think much of ties. When she responds to your brief tale, you can't tell if her whispers filled a reprimand or appreciation. It does not fit me to put one soul above another. 'Tis true that the mayor pushes the village into a time of struggle, but not because of bad will. That's what she was taught, and what saves her from her own past. She pursues power, and there's weakness in it. I do think she needs to change for everyone's sake, but each one of us struggles to bloom, not just her. Her blue eyes resemble light flower petals. Oh, you're a lot nicer than she made you out to be. She said you knew her true nature. If what I'm hearing is correct, she's just a well-meaning, shrewd lady who probably sucks as a mother. Alright, how's her time looking? Alright, I'll go back to the hamlet. Tell her she should be fine for now. Hamlet's peaceful, silent like a dead tree. Green and red tortoise is resting in the grass but flees to water as soon as he hears your mount. Gidia is seating near the entrance, carving a bowl from a piece of driftwood. She rates at you from a distance, her voice is bright. Good to see you alive. Is it? I saw your boat. If I was ever in need of borrowing one, would you care? Of course I would care. 'Tis my boat. Kind of. Eh? Wait. She raises her chin. Yes, 'tis my boat. And 'tis not cheap. She pauses. No, I do owe you a favor. We may figure something out. Well, you certainly do. I kept your secret. Just thought I'd let you know. I will come calling for that favor. I'm guessing this way is to Gale Rocks. First time we got left. I think I need to get rashes for Quintus. That would be hard to do, but it'd be cheaper at Pelt of the North. Pelt of the North. Yeah, I could get the rations. What I should do, I should get to here, Northern Road, which I think is where I set up my fish trap before I go to the old tunnel. So, okay, we'll go this way. To the Pelt. Lights are promising a refuge. The guards have bows, and spears in their hands, and some rush to the gate, only to close it again right after you ride inside. Bored with life, Roadwarden? One of them grumbles. Ain't you noticed it's almost dark? Almost. I got 45 minutes. Okay. Innkeeper? Show me your wares. Food rations. Oh, I do need crossbows. Alright. That's all you had? Damn. Nah, I forget how much Quintus needed. I think 6. One. Damn. Okay. Well, I'm sleeping here anyway. Since we're already here. Anything Tulia has? Nope. Wait, can I wash myself? Can't get cleaner. Pyros? Nope. Alright. Guess I'll just rent a room. Alright, now that we're here, show me your wares. Need more. Armor isn't here. Okay, how about some axe throwing? Oh, heck yeah. Finally won. Oh, it is nice to win. How much were the goblins again? 10. Maybe I should just go take care of it myself. Maybe I'll get a new axe. What was I gonna ask her about? Some wild creatures. I forgot. I forgot I was gonna ask her about something. Well, Leto, she chuckles. For you, it's 5 dragons. I won't go any lower. The others would give me weird looks. Why would they give you weird looks? Why would that be weird? Why would going lower weird? You should go lower. Never mind. There was some wild creatures I wanted. There was a wild creature that I wanted to ask her about, and I've already forgotten. I should have made a note. Well, the armor isn't here yet. Alright, well, I guess I'll go check the trap in the meantime. No, it's not. Doesn't look like I can take care of the goblins either. Armor. Measure your services. There we go. Now, Vanna Watchtower, that's 3 hours. The old bridge, placed over a stream bed. Could set up trap there, but I don't have another fish trap. The cabin, uninhabited wooden structure built in a clearing near a rock face. I don't think we've checked that out. We just ran past it. Only tracks in sight belong to small critters. The cabin has the window, but a stubborn beast could easily burst in through the old thatch. A gust of wind doesn't move the door. A curious ibex observes you from the crag, but flees from your gaze. Check on the cabin. You tether magenta to the supporting beat. Its curious eyes are tracking the crickets that jump among the grass blades. You stretch your limbs, adjust your armor, and reach for the axe. Let's eavesdrop first. You sneak toward the door and crouch down. After maybe a minute, a quiet rattle comes from inside, something similar to the sound of cracking knuckles. You peek inside and just barely see a small part of the dusty room. A large spiderweb is spread among the knocked-down furniture. Probably that was coming from inside. Let's get my crossbow ready. Remove its protective case and plant the stirrup on the ground. Take a deep breath, pull the string until it locks, then load the coil. Okay, let's go. The spider looks at you from the center of the web. Its shell is larger than your head, and the thin legs are longer than your arms. Its countless hair blends in with the walls. They're brown, gray, cream. What do you do? Let me think. Well, I'm gonna shoot it is what I'm gonna do. You aim while the spire skitters off, shaking the entire web. You pull the trigger but fail to avoid the creature's spit. Oh. The sticky ooze hits your eyes, covering them like a glued cloth. The sack of flesh smacks the floor, clicks in agony. Your eyelids can't even blink. You drop the crossbow on the floor and sit on the threshold blindly. Watch out for my eyes, but act quickly, harshly pulling the ooze. Harshly? No, I should be careful. I don't want to rub it in more. Saliva clings tightly to your skin, thus stretching it with your fingers helps. The eyelids are the worst part, but you're grateful for your reflexes. At least you still have eyes. You can't get to see the light slowly, then the shapes. The thing turns out to be gray and white. You stand up and look around. The room is covered with a thick layer of dust. Getting through the web could be risky. A single thread won't stop you, but a bunch of them could grapple you for good. I drag the spider carcass away and throw it into the forest. Not much time. I light up a candle and rip the web. Someone could be interested in such a thick web. I spend an hour or so gathering it. I do need the coin. Bring a twig from outside and use it as a spool. You don't have much practice, and wearing the gloves makes the necessary gestures even more awkward. From time to time, the silk breaks, but it shouldn't be a problem for a tailor. It's a material for stitching, and it wouldn't be turned into a cloth anyway. You notice maybe a dozen defensive spiderlings. They feed toward the exit, with their speed limited by their tiny legs. They're smaller than a finger. No, I should stample them. They just grow. On their death, they make a squish. Alright, well, let's see what's in the building. The chest hides a few old water skins and edibles, stale rations. Among them, however, you find 2 quarrels for a crossbow. The bones have no obvious owner, but judging by their age and the lack of skull or human-like hands, you doubt they could be awoken by the fogs. The boots, rugged pants, an old sticky tunic, and other scraps are cheap and hide no jewelry. The bowls and mugs are empty. Drag the spider carcass away and throw it into the forest. Put on your thick gloves and grab 4 spider legs at once. The corpse isn't heavy, so you drag it behind you. You reach the bushes at the edge of the road, then lift up the entire creature. The more you shake it, the more distracting the twitches of its legs get. You send it into a tree trunk. It sinks into the thicket, causing a bit of a rustle among the dwellers. Well, the cabin is safe now. Oh, I do have some time. Could report this to Creeks and the foraging grounds nearby. Let's try and forage. Okay. Statue of a woman. Brook is cleaner than ever. Your palfrey happily takes a short break to quench his thirst. The statue stands in all its glory, observing the road and those who use it. I don't have anything to wash myself with more than I'm already clean. Foggy Lake. Good to visit Foggy. The light shines on the water on the empty road. With no orbital beds or travelers in sight, the tavern looks like an abandoned hamlet. Foragers are inspecting the boat, talking about their recent fishing trip. A taller man welcomes you with a nod. Well, how you doing, Foggy? I do need some rest, but let's see what you have. Oh, that's right, only fresh meals. Well, I'm not looking for fresh meals right now. I'm pretty full. Let's see. How much are you willing to... 3 dragons? You never know when I might need it. I'll hold it on to it. Let's go see if it's any good at Kale Rock. Oh yeah, could show her the ocean necklace. Just reach out for it. Ah, one of those that shine in the sun. The folks from Gale Rocks make them from the shells and dead sharks they find on the coast. You ask about a probable owner, but she lets out a puff. Could be anyone. That's fair. Question about the peninsula. She frowns. Beholder. Broad shoulders form a straight line. It's a dark thing, this beholder. Gives me chills. The druids told us it's been here longer than any human, but I don't know why they keep such dark magic around. I heard that it eats souls, but gossip gets cruel when it's about pagans. Alright, well, I guess teach me much. Well, I'm here to stay. No, I need the rations. Not for me, unfortunately. Alright, once again hits the ground, interrupting your sleep. Alright. I'm off to Creeks. Few scantily clad people are standing on the bridge, greeting you as you ride by. On your way to the gate, a flock of sparrows takes off from the road, landing either on the watchtower or on the tree to your right. Well, weren't we supposed to go clear the tree? Ooh. Do get nourishment from it. What can I say? I'm a sucker for coin. There's a shallow creek. Jump in the stream. Step away. Alright. Let's go make the rounds. Ayla. He's cutting a plank into smaller slats. He nods to you and wipes the sweat off his forehead. Welcome to Creeks, friend! Trust me enough to tell me about his brother. Have you ever met the tribe of the Green Mountain? A chisel falls out of his hand. When he reaches for it, he looks around, making sure there's no one around. Not really. When I was a kid, I saw the older tribes folk speaking with them. In the old speech, I think. They aren't around anymore, but I've heard we owe them a lot. That doesn't really answer my questions. People say I stay around and spend a lot of time in your village. Hold on. The Eastern Path. Did you face any troubles? I restored the brook ford that connects the Eastern Road with the heart of the forest. I know that place. I don't think we're going to see that many wagons going through there in the next few seasons, but it must have been quite a few hours of work for a single shell, and quite close to the beasts. You realize he's not as much addressing you as thinking out loud while reaching for the wooden case. His fingers play with the contents for a bit, until he takes 2 dragon bones out of it. One for the labor, another one for the threat. You must say, not too bad for carrying rocks. Yeah. For carrying rocks. Fine. True. The more I tell my tribesfolk about your good work, the more often I hear them talking about you. Ain't that a big hoop? There's a big spider at the hunter's cabin, but it's gone now. He reserves your cheeks and hands and smiles. I'm glad to see you're fine, friend. How's the cabin doing? You answer him a few times, and he stretches his arms, then puts his hand on the back of his head. His eyes are absent. So it'll be an easy restoration, maybe a few logs to swap. And the roof won't do much good anymore. It takes your pronounced grunt for him to blink a few times and raise the lid of the case. One for the news. He puts the first dragon on a tabletop, then another one next to it. And this one's for taking care of the beast. It's not a fair tries, but just let it go, you need his help. Thanks a lot. We started sending the foragers and hunters to farther parts of the peninsula. The monsters are still there, but the fewer surprises there are ahead of us, the easier it is to adapt. Okay, well, the watchtower is clear. Yeah, kind of. That's a relief! He reaches for the case so quickly that he misestimates the distance. Falls on the ground with a clatter like a fistful of dice, and instead of collecting everything right away, he picks up 2 of the dragon bones that are rolling toward him. I need to make another one anyway, he says to himself, and pays you, asking about the place. You mention the bugs, the rotten barrels, the moisture, which you describe the broken door, the man's size. So he can't hide there for long. I'll need to build a new door myself, but I have no iron for a lock. He adjusts his furry cloak and starts to think out loud. It was quite an expensive balm, you know? The one for the bugs. Come on. It was. I'm sorry to say that, but you've wasted your time. His voice is hesitant. Without the entrance, many awful creatures may hide there, insects, empresses included. And this is all this message is worth to me. Believe it or not, my tribe folks say the roads truly are getting safer. Beasts are learning this road is not just theirs anymore. I'll have to journey to the fallen tree. I have to come here earlier. I'll let you know if there's anything else. Alright, anything else? Well, you see, Ayla, I'm worried about those bandits. Looks at you for a bit and nods slowly. Those are not some strangers, but folks of the north, our neighbors. One of them is from our very own tribe, and they don't target us, just strangers. You ask him again if he's sure no one from his village has been targeted so far. After a cold A, he reaches for a carving knife. Can you tell me anything about your brother? Any chance he's looking to get married? He slowly starts to speak, making sure his tribesfolk don't eavesdrop. His soul is clouded. He thinks we have no right to waste what the dead have sacrificed for our sake, and that we disrespect them by staying weak. But all of it is just a cloak that hides him. He cares not about respect, but about his guilt. It takes a bit of convincing before he explains what he means by that. Our father died from claws, our mother from a bad birth. We used to have 5 brothers and sisters, all of them dead now. Some maybe could have been saved, but not all, and surely not by being stronger. Yet Ephraim keeps thinking he had every opportunity to fix the tragedies, and he's to blame for letting them down. Him and I both. Falls silent. But at least I put my shame to use. He reaches for his tools again. And hunting isn't use. We already have everything we need. A beautiful home, enough food, fewer beasts than ever. It's going to be a rough lifetime for us. Takes a swing. But our kids will be fine. What would he protest to more? Let's talk about Asterion. People do say that Asterion has spent a lot of time in the village. You're not hiding something, are you? He adjusts his shoulder cape and clears his throat with a grunt. People, eh? Well, there's some truth to that, but Asterion isn't here, and we don't know where he is. He took our coins, but for fair labor. He moved west to other settlements, patrolled the roads, escorted an old woman to a druid and back. Did you know you can get good prices for iron at Hallersdale, but even better at White Mossers? I did know that, actually. Seeing your look, he turns away and rests his elbow on a workbench. His plans are his own problem, and I have no reason to believe he wanted to be found. Nor can I help you. Be serious now, Ayla. I need to know what happened to Asterion. If there's any hope in finding him. He springs up, still holding his tools and demonstrating his threatening physique, and raises his voice. I am serious! I don't know! He looks behind him and even takes a step back, but with every few gestures, his breath gets a bit slower. He said there's nothing of great value hidden in the wilderness, Roadwarden. A treasure, I think. And that treasure would change the north. He rubs his forearms, but there is still tension in his shell. He needed help we couldn't give him, and told us prepare for Glacia and her bandits to come for supplies. He paid for them up front, but she never came. Neither did he. When he sits down again, he doesn't look at you. I never saw him like that before. He was tired and worried, friend. His words lacked confidence. May very well be that something caught him. But we weren't a part of that. Now please, let me be. Very well. Should have asked about the rods first. That's on me. I guess we can go talk to Ephron. He's just returning from a trip to the area behind a northern palisade, holding a hare in his hands. Once he notices you, he purses his lips and lowers the wolf's head to partially cover his eyes. Hey, any chance you've ever met the tribe of the Green Mountain? He leans away, gives you a surprised look, then shrugs so nonchalantly that his hat falls on his back. Nay, they use the old speech. It sounds like a drinking song of a seagull. He scoffs at his own joke. They only talk to our elders like Foggy, he whispers. Wait, Foggy? Aye, well, don't call her that. There was a time when they gave us seeds and spears on a visit, and we also brought them gifts to ask for something. What was it? After he prates it for a bit, you change the topic. Well, I guess I'll go find that information out from Foggy. How about old Hava? Standing next to the stream, speaking with another farmer who leaves her once you get closer. Supplies? Roast chicken. And could get another fish trap. Very well. To Foggy. Arrived by patrol from Creeks that's escorting a car loaded with timber. Greet you politely, mentioning the growing safety on the roads. As you ride further, you notice a fresh cart of pebbles covering the muddier scraps of the trail, the trimmed shrubs and the clear tufts of grass. From now on, it should be easier to cross between Foggy Lake and the village. Finally, the locals are waking up. There's a hint of a strange scent and fresh claw marks left on the ground. Large saurian entered and left the yard through the lake. Forgers are carving a new set of throwing clubs. At least everyone's alright. Foggy? Questions? Wow, what were they called? Find a Roadwarden. Support of Howard's Dell. No. Glossary. Magic, politics, geography. Crap, what were they called? Green, so groups and places. The Tribe of the Green Mountain. Tribe of the Green Mountain. She looks at you in silence, then suddenly bursts into laughter. Oh, wasn't me who told you about the Tribe of the Green Mountain? Shameful. Her shaking chest is like a running beast. Oh, love, they won't be happy to see you. They live in a cave far from here, on the mountainside in the far east. They try to stay away from what happens in the lowlands, but they don't even want to trade with us anymore, not since... She waves her hand. Since almost a decade, I'd say. When you ask her why their presence is such a secret, she scratches her knee. It's their will, and we seek no conflict with their weird shamans. They know of the monks in the monastery, and they're afraid of what they'll face once the Unites arrive. You know what the church does to pagans. Both of these words are dripping with disgust. If you have to bother them, ride south to the old bridge, then turn east, until you reach a game trail. Just stay on the northern path of the brook. Be sure you can get through a thicket somehow. Wait. Okay, right south to the old bridge. Tribe of Green Mountain. Right south to the old bridge. What else? Then turn east until you reach a game trail. Then turn east until you reach a game trail. Just stay on the northern side of the brook. Be sure you can get through the thicket. Okay, hold on. Stay on the northern side of the brook. Stay on the northern side of the brook, past the thicket. Got it. Thank you. I still have time. Okay. Well. To traveling we go. The northern road. Oh, right. My trap. You're too late. Yeah. Set it up again. Oh. I guess now we can go back to Foggy. Stay there. I'll just sleep in the main hall. Make do. It's an exhausting night. It could be worse. On the road? It's a little too soon, I imagine. Nope. Alright, so creeks it is. Let me go wash up. Going back to Ella. Alright. I like to place this rod somewhere high. Belongs to Eudocia, the Enchantress. Grabs a rod and looks at it with caution. I wouldn't call her our friend, exactly. You do better selling this. Swinging it left and right like a club, he tells you to wait. It can't be just my decision. I'm going to ask the others, at least a few of them. You rest at a table and observe how the man approaches various souls and exchanges a few words with them. It takes him so long he managed to get bored enough to indulge a little girl who'd like to pet Magenta. The man returns and gives you the rod back. Well, my tribe is far from convinced. He wipes the sweat off his forehead. We'd rather stay away from it. Yeah, I thought that might happen. Alright, I'm ready to help you with the fallen tree. He springs up and leads you to the square. Gather folks for the wood cutting. He orders the children and waves to the adults to get their attention. Looks at you with a smile. We have sharp axes, full stomachs, spare wheels, and you can leave your mount at a creek. Nothing like a day of grazing, napping, and shitting, eh? Now waiting for your response, he addresses the approaching souls. None of them are older than 30. I approach Magenta and scratch his neck. Don't worry, I'll be back soon. After a few minutes, the crowd gathers next to the bridge, organizing their simple carts and wagons that are held by ropes, joints, and leather straps. You notice that one of them carries a pile of a few bulky sacks, so you ask Soshi with a massive ask about their contents. Just the food, friend. She's looking at you with excitement, moving her hips to an inaudible melody. What's on wheels, light as a feather, no need to hunt in the woods. To illustrate her point, she throws her tool in the car next to her. I pile my belongings in a wagon's corner, covering them with a heavy cloak. You never know. I'm gonna keep my axe on my belt. Doesn't take long for the sound of wheels and boots to cut through the songs of birds and insects. Your loud journey is accompanied not just by the sound of trampled and kicked rocks, but also the conversation of the woodcutters, who are spread around without any worries. You cross the thin gorge where Ephraim the hunter is waiting on the side of the road. He stands still, looking around like a gate guard from the city. Once you get closer, he joins you with an excited look and light steps, shaking the wolf's head. Don't worry, friend. You may be here to protect us, but my destiny is to keep you breathing to the very end. You seem happy to leave the village. Oh, what happens after the end? There may never be one, or we may not see it coming. His tone is cheerful as he glances at the humble caravan. Don't worry. I have a feeling a good day is ahead of us. You move past the tavern and head south, where you encounter Elon and T, the foragers. They move through the meadows with long sticks in hand and baskets on their backs, seeking food in the meadows while also scaring away any potential snakes. Once they notice your expedition, they run up to the road where the larger man asks the others about their health and days. After a few minutes, they reach you and Ephraim. You look both like a flock of vagabonds and a squad of guards. What all these axes and spears, says Elon. Weird to see you all in one place, without the walls to hide you, crude as they are. This catches my interest. The palisade isn't that bad. Wait, what is he? Weird to see you all in one place without walls to hide you. What is... Like, the walls of the... I don't know if that catches my interest. I guess they... Or is that a snag at Ayla? Are they saying he has shoddy craftsmanship? I mean, kind of does, but that's... You know, we all start somewhere. How's today's hunt going? Elam, careful as usual, reaches for a throwing club and makes a slow-like gesture. His polished and lacquered weapon shines in the sun. I hit a blue grouse. He didn't have a chance. C scoffs. Aye, on the third try, but his companion ignores it. And we have a few snake eggs. A good dinner awaits us. After that, they mostly speak with Ephraim about the Moflin he recently delivered to them. Then turn back before you get to the stone statue, wishing you a safe journey. I see the people are relaxed. Continue to chat with the hunter. The side hostile path ahead of us. Be sure to look at the bushes. Yeah. It is nice, but I don't want to be in charge of a dead party. The farther away you get from the foraging ground, the more quiet the townsfolk grow. The hours of wayfaring are getting to your legs, and the atmosphere grows tense as some of your weaker companions are asked to be pulled on the carts for at least a few minutes. Ephraim looks behind and at you. You ever sing and havlavin during work? His words are so loud, you have no doubt that the rest of the group also heard them. We sing the songs of the sea. Sailors bring the fishers and dock hands, and it spreads from taverns to homes. Still remember the tunes from before the war. The city folk find strength where they hear tales of the 10 cities. Our songs are a bit more tame than the ones from the villages. Some things sound too awkward when the priests are around. No, it would slow down the laborers. If anything, it might speed them up. Are they more tame? Probably more tame than your village. That's probably not something they want to hear. This is pretty neutral. Songs of the sea. How'd they go? You recognize Soshi's voice. You start with your favorite shanty, leading the group through the quick, repetitive melody as a lead, and giving them time to repeat the last few words. Once everyone learns how to follow, the woman replaces you, giving you poor throat some rest, but also adjusting the words slightly. Ship turns into boats, krakens into dragons. It's hard to tell anymore if it's a song about missing home from the waves of this ocean or being lost in the woods. Oh, they sure know how to get into the spirit. Something altogether in a way that they reject the proper way. No, it doesn't matter. This is how stories grow, I guess. We can eat here, declares the hunter as you approach the watchtower, and asks the people behind him to spread the news. The carts and travelers gather in the middle of the crossroads, forming a defensive circle, while some of the folks unpack food rations. Before you sit down on the grass, Ephraim gestures for you to join him. Help me, eh? The two of you approach a wagon covered with a raw hide. After the hunter pushes it aside, you instantly realize what the man plans to do. It's not much, but enough for the winter. Watch out for the splinters. A few breaths later, you lean the new door against the wall and start moving the old pieces of wood, throwing them away. Huh. Surprised the carpenter built it so quickly. He didn't. The hunter points at the marks left by a spilt beverage. It used to be a table. We have no way of making a lock, but maybe bears won't learn how to turn a knob. Let's put the old wood back on the cart. Ayla will pay for it play with it for a bit. Oh, sure. Some of the tribesfolk wander a bit further away, searching the tall grasses for food, as if their habits are stronger than fear. But after a hunter orders them to regroup, they stay disciplined. After a short break, the expedition starts to restore its previous shape, while you and the hunter leave them behind, scouting ahead. The overgrown path twists between the hills and bushes. This route has issues much larger than a fallen tree. Your companion's voice is tired and quiet. 2, maybe 3 more years, and it will be safer to block it completely. Both of you reach for your blades when a sudden cry comes from down the road. It resembles an ape, a young troll, or a human tormented by visions. It lasts for a few breaths and ends as abruptly as it started, but it isn't followed by any attack or even footsteps. Stay here. I crawl my way up a hill and observe the area through the shrubs. I push away the leaves and once again hear the cry. It comes from one of the goblins gathered at the side of the road, none of which look into your direction. Their thick furs and shades of brown and black make you realize that you've encountered the very same pack in this area before. Most of them stand still and in silence, either on all fours or using their crude sticks and clubs to remain upright. 2, however, are hitting the ground with their fists and shaking the empty shell of yet another goblin. An elder covered with gray fur, whose upper half is leaning against the tree, while the bottom half is a few feet away in a puddle of blood. The guts spilling out of its stomach don't suggest a promising diagnosis. You get back to Ephraim, who's too focused on his cudgel to adjust the tilted wolf's head. So? Goblins. More than a dozen. They're mourning their dead leader. Small pack goblins too stupid to realize their leader is dead. I imagine they know, which makes this all the more dangerous. So it's been wailing. I didn't know that they cared. I mean, they get caught by beasts as often as we do. And frowns as if his words make him unsure. But after he shakes his head and adjusts his hat, his confident self returns. Well, there's more of them among the trees, keeping watch. Let's gather a fair group of fighters and strike them first. What? There's no need to hurt them. They'll flee from our loud wheels in large numbers. No, that's probably better. You know who to pick. It won't take long before the pack is crushed. Once everyone's ready, the battle starts. The battle takes not even a minute. The hunters, foragers, and woodcutters may not be experienced soldiers, but their light equipment allows them to get close to the pack. And once they're noticed, their long, sharp spears and axes make their charge devastating. A few of the beasts, unaware of the scale of the threat, die before they can land a single hit, while the rest of them drop whatever they're holding and disappear among the leaves, too nimble for any human to catch up with them. A few of the tribesfolk are searching an area, removing goblin tusks from their jaws and pushing the corpses deeper into the bushes so that they won't get caught in the wheels. Ephraim takes a look at the weapons but decides to only keep what seems like a human-made axe head and a rusty dagger. Anything worth picking up? Not really. Their furs smell like shit. He considers handing you the dagger, but you realize its worth is negligible. All of it needs some extra work. I'll tell Ayla to pay you another dragon bone once we're back. Appreciate it. He then orders his people to tell the carts and wagons to regroup, and you step away from the blood and reaches your boot slowly. Make sure no one got left behind. That would be bad. Oh, finally here. That's not too bad, says Shoshi as we reach the fallen tree. It's thin, we can surround it. The workers divide the tools and use the carts and wagons to form a barricade, explaining that they'll move them once again when it comes to loading timber on them. Prepare your own belongings when you notice that the tribe awaits your command. Oh, well, you can start whenever you're ready. I'll keep an eye on our surroundings. Broken wagon is the first task that the workers take care of. A few dozen souls that arrived here would be enough to simply push the tree to one side, and would be an exhausting task for lesser numbers. Will take them little time. You use the crags to observe the area, moving around without haste. Distracting noises of your group scare away many creatures. The eyes that observe you are mostly spread among tree crowns and the highest point of the hills. You spot a few ibexes, monkeys, and many birds, but no cats, runners, draglings, or wolves. I do miss sitting in a saddle. The saw and axes split the tree in a few spots at once, while the less experienced members of the group trim the branches and carry loads of wood. For the task to replace the exhausted woodcutters. When the work slows down but never stops, and while the constant noise finally lures the presence of a small dragon that's walking on four legs, each one as large as a human, seeing your large group makes it turn back, even though you would most likely be unable to pierce through its skin. After another few hours, no one has enough fortitude to start another conversation. Once the carts and wagons are ready, the crew demands a half an hour break. I can't really avoid it. The road back is rough. The heavy blocks of wood require the dragon crew to take turns every few minutes or so, hoping that no one will be pushed to exhaustion. Crossing the bridge is the worst part. Lifting and dropping the vehicles is too dangerous for the primitive wheels, and one of them breaks and needs to be replaced on the spot. One of the foragers finally proposes heaping up soil into temporary gentle slopes, which once again takes a lot of time. The Nephrons sit down at the stream bank, observing the water. Let's hope you reach the tavern before nightfall, he states simply. You're so exhausted that seeking an answer takes you a bit of time. Now look at the workers. Could use a better bridge and one way than wood. I hear you know someone who can help with that. Keeping a fix would take many dangerous journeys. I'd rather see a proper bridge made of stone. But the folks at Old Pagos haven't made one in however long they've been around. He leans back, putting the weight of his back onto his arms and observing the darkening sky. So maybe one day, when we have enough savings to buy the materials ourselves. Once you're ready for the rest of the journey, you really don't feel like getting on your feet. 5 dragons, huh? I muttered. Almost there. I think best to sound truthful. Yeah, I would really rather. Yeah, I'd really rather not make the wound more sour. It's gonna make the trip back worse. Fog and her crew welcome you at the gate. With their few tables, benches, and chairs moved outside the palisade, inviting everyone to sit down and eat. Though more than half the crew has to sit down on the wagons. 2 of the foragers refuse the meal, instead laying on the soft grass. It's kind of them. You all get a bowl of warm stew, heavy and fat, with snake eggs placed on top of a piece of pheasant meat. The vegetables are properly seasoned and juicy, though you'd love to have an extra pinch of salt. The worst part of the road is behind you, and while people remain quiet, they eat with enthusiasm. The tavern keeper approaches you and Ephron. It may be dark, but you feel as if she's covering you with a devouring shadow. Well, loves, how's the road? Worth the effort? I'm tired. As neither you nor Ephron speak up, he finally lets out a weak chuckle. See, Foggy, don't push us now. I'll visit you soon, and we'll have a good talk. She pats your backs with surprising strength, and you can't tell if that's because of her size or out of the fact that you're too weak to resist her hits. Rest, rest. Her laughter attacks your ears. I'll see you when you have your tongues back. Your eyelids are already growing heavy when Ephraim gets up and starts to wake up the napping workers with his boot. Make sure there's nothing left in my bowl. Saved! A woman with big axes crosses the gorge with laughter, and the expedition leaves the carts and wagons in front of the bridge. Seeing how dark it is, you're not surprised to learn the unloading will occur after dawn. Not like anyone's going to steal it, he says one of the foragers, though everyone makes sure to take the remaining food rations. We were lucky, let's not tempt the beast, says a hunter. The rest of the tribe welcomes your group from the open gate. Relieved laughter fills the little village. They seem surprised to learn that no one got seriously wounded. Ela and Ephraim share a brief embrace, but the carpenter doesn't hesitate to mention the hunter's smell. Realize you also need a long bath. If they betray me, I'll kill them all. What? No, I'll just collect my reward. Why would I be thinking that? The carpenter reaches for a little lit torch and asks you to follow him. I meant to pay you one more dragon. So be it. I'd pay 4 times as much for keeping everyone safe. You did a good job, friend. You would? Then do so. He opens the wooden casket and counts down the piece of bone. Tell me, Leto, what you think? How's the road? You now know how a merchant may feel on it. Yours, it's shit. You need a year-long Roadwarden or a group of soldiers. Well, it's empty but beautiful, even the old abandoned structures. You realize I've seen many, many roads. There's nothing unique about this one. Protected, and it'll be safer, neglected, and it'll be lost. I think he is someone who appreciates beauty. I guess I can see the beauty in that. Gives you a surprised look. Not an answer I was expecting. He pushes the coin towards you with a single confident gesture. The few times I traveled to Gale Rocks, I mostly saw rocks to crush, trees to chop, meadows to forage at. And I expect you need to feel some pleasure from traveling, or you'd go insane. Yeah, I'm a bit tired, Ayla. Copper pauses for a long while and starts to draw an invisible map on the workbench with his fingers, muttering to himself. Yes, he says slowly. You've already done more on the road than I've expected, friend. I dare say more than any outsider in this generation. The tribe can take it from here. He reaches for something resting on a log beneath the table and turns towards you. You already received your pay, but maybe you'd like to take a hair pelt as a gift. Foggy doesn't need it, but you'll get a dragon or 2 for it in another village. I appreciate it. You take a look at the fine fur and roll it into a more mobile shape. Seeing how Ayla observes you, tell him to just ask. I can't figure what pushed you to be this much of a help to us, friend. I know some of the things you've seen were just on your path, but others took a true risk. It's just what a Roadwarden ought to do. Your pay was fair and I needed it. Crix is a lovely place. I hope it succeeds. I smirk. Oh, I do have my reasons. Your pay was fair and I needed it. We don't have much left, he chuckles and pats his stomach. But my tribe agrees it's a good deal for us. His other hand reaches out to you. We may not have much, but come here another spring or later, you'll see a real change in the peninsula. I shake his hand. I'm trying to be focused on the pelt. If I'm ever around, I'll be sure to see how it's progressed. I'll shake his hand. I'm sure I will. His large hand is calloused, and even the brief touch is enough to notice the cuts and chopped of skin, signs of his amateurish labor. I doubt you'll find more to do on this route, but if I turn out to be wrong, let me know. He then sits down on the stool and looks at his tools with a big smile. Alright, I should talk to you about the Enchantress Rod. You should know by now that I can be trusted. He takes the rod and smiles. There's no need. I already know what they'll say. My tribe calls you a fair soul. We'll put it at the watchtower. There ain't that many birds that would steal something of that size. Appreciate it. See you later. Guess I'll good say bye to Efren. He's lost in his thoughts, never mind. Altava. Already have a fish trap. I have to remember to set that up. First a shallow creep, jump in the stream. Alright, closest shelter. Foggy Lake. Screeching birds are sitting on the logs of the palisade. Some of them observing you. The group doesn't cease its squabbling. Alright. I'm gonna get some sleep, I guess. The shiver wakes you up. Foggy is standing by the open door, letting the dense fog in. With her back lit by a lantern, while she breathes slowly, her eyes are keenly observing the area. And after you focus, you hear the distorted screams of roaming Saurons. It'll pass. Alright, I'm off. Let's see if my fish trap has caught anything. Nope. And the other fish trap would be here, I think. Old bridge. Ruined shelter. Wasn't anything over there, was there? Don't think so. I think I want to head into the old tunnel. See where that leads. Detour is not as smooth as the main road. A wagon can make it through, but even so, you have to squeeze between some narrow corridors, hoping no beast is going to jump at you from the ledge. You walk, leading your mount with an axe in your hand. In the middle of the road, after reaching one of the higher hills, you take a glance ahead. Even from here, you see the sun reflecting from the ocean. But there is also a pillar of smoke coming from a distant west. Maybe a volcano somewhere behind the horizon. But you can't tell if it's part of the peninsula, or maybe a yet stranger land. Once you get to the other side of the mountain, you find the northern entrance to the tunnel, blocked by a large bronze gate. So tall and wide, you're not sure if it's something you could open with your muscles alone. It's a keyhole as well, as large as your hand. Locking that tunnel would save me a lot of time. It would. Get a good look at the village from a distant hill. It's torn between taming the crags and succumbing to the whims. The gray boulders are like the rotting teeth of a giant, sprinkled around by an ancient spirit. The carved cave mouths are covered with wooden doors. There are only a few windows, and you can only imagine how dark and cold the gouged out rooms have to be. The buildings and walls, made of logs or stone blocks, must be much younger than the caves. The impressive, whitewashed keep, standing on top of the hill in the west, could just as well have been built in the city. Smoke rises from both sides of the wild river. You see many busy souls as they go about moving tools, food, and timber over the bridge. An arrival at the eastern gate causes some curious glances, while the only person who approaches you is a man who was sitting at a table, discussing something with a few elders. He's carrying a crossbow on his back and a long rusty knife at his side, but doesn't reach for them. Well, time for the old. We can't trust you yet. Earn our trust. Honestly, as good as it feels once you get to that point, it just feels like a song and dance at this point. Of course, if I show up and say, hey, you can trust me, well, that's probably what someone you couldn't trust would say.